What is adultery? Have you ever wondered what exactly adultery means, especially when it comes to divorce and separation? Adultery is defined as voluntary sexual intercourse between a married person and someone who is not their spouse. This act is considered a form of extramarital sex and can have serious legal consequences in the context of divorce. In many places, adultery is recognized as a valid ground for divorce, particularly in fault-based divorce systems. This means that if one spouse commits adultery, the other spouse can use this as a reason to seek a divorce. However, the legal definition of adultery can vary depending on the state or country. It generally requires that at least one of the individuals involved is married. When it comes to divorce proceedings, adultery can impact several important aspects. First, it can serve as a ground for divorce. In some jurisdictions, proving that adultery has occurred is necessary to show that the marriage has irretrievably broken down. This is often a requirement for obtaining a divorce. Adultery can also affect property settlements. Courts may take into account the act of adultery when dividing marital assets, which could influence how property is distributed between the spouses. Additionally, decisions regarding alimony or spousal support and child custody can be influenced by adultery. It may be seen as a factor in determining the best interests of the children or the financial needs of both spouses. The emotional and psychological impact of adultery can be profound. It often leads to feelings of betrayal, complicating the divorce process for everyone involved, including children. To successfully use adultery as a ground for divorce, the petitioner must prove that the spouse has committed adultery and that they find it intolerable to continue living with that spouse. It is important to note that the act of adultery must be voluntary and involve sexual intercourse. Mere suspicion or attempts at adultery do not meet the legal standard. Sometimes, the third party involved in the adultery may be named in the divorce proceedings, but this is usually avoided unless it is necessary for legal reasons. It is also important to distinguish between adultery and infidelity. While these terms are often used interchangeably, adultery specifically refers to physical sexual acts with someone other than one's spouse. Infidelity can include emotional acts or other forms of disloyalty that do not necessarily involve sexual intercourse. Both can lead to divorce but are treated differently under the law. Understanding the legal aspects of adultery is essential for anyone navigating the complexities of divorce and separation.